All right, so picture this. You're just swimming along,
Mhm.
beautiful day, ocean, sun is shining, everything's great. And then, bam, shadow. Everything gets dark, real dark. And suddenly there's this pressure, and it's like you're surrounded by, I don't know, almost a warmth. You've just been swallowed by a whale.
Whoa.
So it's a
It-
primal fear.
Oh, absolutely. Sends chills down your spine just thinking about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like all those stories come flooding back.
Yeah.
Like Jonah, Pinocchio,
Yeah.
lost to the belly of this beast.
Right. Classic tales.
But what really happened?
Yeah. What's the reality of that situation?
Like the actual biology.
The science of being swallowed by a whale.
Today, we're going to deep dive into that.
We are. It's a fascinating question. You're right. Those stories, they really capture our imagination. And what's really interesting is to think about how they compare to what we know about whales,
Right.
like their anatomy, how their bodies work. So we're going to look at the evidence and try to figure out what would happen in such an extraordinary event.
Yeah, so if we're going to really, really break this down,
Right.
like the first question we got to answer is, can a whale even swallow a human?
Yeah, that's a good place to start. Can they even physically do it?
Right.
I mean, are they even built for that?
Yeah.
And, when you start thinking about the different kinds of whales, that's where things get interesting.
Oh, okay.
So you have your baleen whales. These are the giants.
Okay.
The blue whale, the humpback. I mean, their mouths are enormous. They
Yeah.
take in huge amounts of water and all this tiny life. But here's the thing. Their throats are pretty narrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're filter feeders. So they have these baleen plates, kind of like, imagine like a comb.
Too?
And it strains out these tiny creatures, krill, little fish. So they're really good at that.
Right.
But they're not really designed to swallow big things whole.
So, if a humpback accidentally scooped up a swimmer or something.
Right, like while it was feeding, it would be more like, oops, wrong mouthful.
Right.
Not like an intentional swallow. And there have actually been a few documented cases of this happening.
Really?
Yeah, like in 2021, there was a lobster diver, and he got briefly caught in a humpback's mouth.
Oh, wow.
And then just a couple of years later, same thing happened to a kayaker.
Go away.
Yeah, well, the humpback was lunge feeding. And in both cases, they were, pushed back out pretty quickly, unharmed, thankfully.
Oh, that's good.
But it shows you their throats just aren't made for something that size.
That makes sense.
But, there is one exception to this in the whale world.
Oh, okay. What's that?
The sperm whale.
Oh, yeah. Those are like the heavy hitters.
Exactly. They hunt giant squid deep down in the ocean.
That's wild.
And I mean, if you're hunting something that big, you need a serious digestive system. And
Yeah.
they definitely have that.
So, how big are we talking about?
So research shows that a sperm whale's esophagus, that's the tube that connects the mouth to the stomach, can actually expand to handle squid longer than 10 meters.
Whoa. 10 meters.
Longer than a car.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So anatomically speaking, they could definitely swallow a human whole.
Wow. Okay. So let's say, hypothetically, you end up in the vicinity of a sperm whale,
Okay.
and let's say you get a little too close,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you're going down the hatch. What's that going to be like?
Well, forget those storybook images,
Right.
like a spacious cavern or whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to be complete chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Panic. Like, imagine yourself tumbling past these huge jaws.
Right.
Even if they don't chomp down, the sheer size would be terrifying.
I bet.
And then you're plunged into this darkness.
Oh, man.
Total darkness.
All right. So you're past the jaws.
Right.
Then you hit the esophagus. It's not like a gentle ride down a slide, right?
No. It's a muscular tube,
Okay.
and it's working to move food down to the stomach. So it's going to be squeezing you.
Oh, man. Pushing you down. Think of it like this. You're being forced through a very tight living tunnel.
Not very pleasant.
Nope.
So if you somehow make it through that,
Okay.
where do you land? Is it like this big open stomach?
Not quite. A sperm whale stomach, it's actually a series of chambers.
Okay.
Each one has its own job in the digestion process.
Hmm.
The first chamber, you could think of it as like a biological grinder.
A grinder.
Yeah. It has these really thick walls, and they contract rhythmically
No.
with a lot of force.
So like a trash compactor.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
It's designed to break down the whale's prey. We're talking about giant squid.
Yeah.
Really tough creatures. So think about the pressure that would put on a human body.
I can't even imagine.
Your chest would be constricted. You couldn't breathe.
Mhm.
And your ribs, I mean, they could easily break.
Oh my gosh. That's like the first stop.
It is.
And then if you survive that,
Right?
you've got to face the stomach acid. Right. The second chamber, that's where the real chemical digestion kicks in.
Okay.
No air in there, just methane and carbon dioxide. So suffocation is a huge risk.
Yeah.
But even worse is the gastric juices.
Right. We're talking about some serious acid.
Oh, yeah. A sperm whale's stomach acid, it has a pH of 1 or 2.
So what does that actually mean? Like for people who haven't taken chemistry in a while.
So pH, it's like a scale of how acidic or alkaline something is.
Okay.
7 is neutral, like water. The lower the number, the stronger the acid.
God.
So 1 or 2, that's like intensely acidic, much stronger than our own stomach acid. More like battery acid.
Wow, that's corrosive.
Very corrosive. It starts dissolving stuff almost instantly.
So that's the acid.
Right.
And then there's also the whale's body temperature. Right.
Inside a whale, it's like 35 to 40 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow. So that's like a hot tub.
Yeah, pretty much. And that heat, it just makes everything worse. The acid works faster. Everything's just really intense.
No air, crushing pressure, acid bath, and it's hot.
Not a great place to be.
Oh, and like there's no escape hatch in there, right?
No. Their digestive system, it's a sealed system. Super efficient.
Okay.
No air pockets, no secret passages. And the digestion just keeps going. Through the third chamber, the fourth chamber, for hours. Nothing survives that.
So all those stories about people surviving inside a whale?
Right, like Jonah or James Bartley, the sailor.
Yeah.
Those are just stories, myths. I mean, they're great stories,
Yeah.
but biologically, they don't make sense. We know how whales' bodies work, and their digestion is just too powerful. There's no way someone could survive that.
Right. But we did talk about those real-life cases
We did.
with the baleen whales.
Yeah,
Like they actually happened, but they turned out okay.
they did. And it's important to remember how different these two types of whales are.
Okay.
The lobster diver, the kayaker, they were caught in the mouths of humpbacks.
Yeah.
That was scary, but it wasn't fatal. And that's because baleen whales, they just can't swallow big things.
Right. Their throats are too narrow.
Exactly. They might accidentally take in a bunch of water with a person in it, but it won't go down their throat.
So it's like they take a bite and they're like, wait, what is this?
Yeah, that's not krill.
Yeah.
And then they just spit it out.
That makes sense.
It's like their reflex. Something big and solid, it triggers them to get rid of it.
Okay.
But sperm whales, they're different.
Right. They're built to handle giant squids.
Exactly. And we know that because of what we find in their stomachs, like tons of squid beaks.
Oh, right.
Those are incredibly tough.
Yeah.
And they survive the digestion process. A human body wouldn't stand a chance.
All right. So let's just cut to the chase.
Okay.
Can a human survive being swallowed by a whale?
Okay.
Let's just focus on sperm whales.
Right.
Because that's the only way you're actually getting swallowed whole.
Yeah.
So what are the deal breakers?
Well, first off, there's no air to breathe. Even if you somehow survived the initial crushing, the oxygen would run out really fast. And then it's just methane and carbon dioxide.
Mhm.
The average person can only hold their breath for a few minutes.
And then there's that first chamber, the grinder.
Right. It's made for breaking down giant squid.
Yeah.
And we're just not built to withstand that kind of force.
I mean, we're not as tough as giant squid.
No, not even close. Our bones would break. It would be like being in a meat grinder.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say by some miracle, you make it past that.
Okay.
Then you hit the second chamber with the super acid.
Right. And that acid, it would start breaking down your body almost immediately.
There's no way to fight that, is there?
No, it's just too corrosive.
All right. So no surviving inside a sperm whale.
No.
But let's get a little sci-fi here.
Okay.
What if you had like a super suit
Oh, interesting.
that was acid proof and it had its own oxygen supply?
Like a futuristic diving suit.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Could you make it out then?
Even with a suit like that, it would be really tough. For starters, there's no exit from the stomach chambers. They're sealed. The only way out would be through the intestines. And a sperm whale's intestines, they can be 300 meters long.
300 meters. That's crazy.
Yeah. And even with an oxygen tank, you'd probably run out of air before you reach the end.
I bet.
Plus, the intestines are still digesting, so the suit would have to withstand that for hours. And the whole time, the whale is moving, diving. The pressure is changing.
Yeah, it's not exactly a smooth ride.
No, it's not.
So what about the whale just like throwing up?
You mean like regurgitating?
Yeah.
Well, some animals do that, but sperm whales, they don't really throw up large things.
Oh, yeah.
They do produce ambergris
Right.
that's formed from stuff in their intestines.
Okay.
But that's different from just vomiting. Ambergris is made over a long time. It's a chemical process.
Right.
So no, you can't count on being thrown back up.
So it's a one-way trip with a sperm whale.
Yeah, pretty much.
But again, with baleen whales, it's different.
Right.
It's scary to be caught in their mouths,
Yeah.
but they can't actually swallow you.
Exactly. They might accidentally scoop you up, but they'll spit you back out.
So to recap, all those stories about surviving inside a whale, they're just that stories.
Right.
With a sperm whale, there's no way to survive.
Mhm.
You'd suffocate, get crushed, and then dissolve.
Yeah.
And with baleen whales, you might get a scare,
Right.
but they can't swallow you whole.
Exactly. And, it's important to remember, whales aren't out to get us, right? They don't see us as prey.
It's just a case of, like, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's amazing how different animals are adapted to their environments.
It is.
Like, think about it. A sperm whale can hold its breath for 90 minutes and dive down thousands of meters. But a human, in that same environment, we'd be lucky to last 90 seconds.
Wow. Yeah.
It really puts things in perspective.
It does. It shows you how incredibly diverse life is and how each species has these unique ways of surviving.
Absolutely. And the sperm whale, it's a perfect example of how life can thrive in these extreme environments.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I think we've pretty thoroughly explored what it would be like to be swallowed by a whale.
I think so, yeah.
And I got to say, I'm kind of glad I'm not a giant squid
Me too.
or a human who gets too close to a sperm whale.
Definitely.
All right, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And maybe stay out of the ocean for a bit, just in case.
Yeah, probably a good idea.